Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he ain't got nobody to listen.
Welcome to the Back Row Giants Show.
Back Row Show Bandits! G-Man, Big Blue, Giants Pride, giddy up, let's go. It's your boy, the B-League says here. Hosting another episode of your Back Row Giants podcast for the Back Row Fantasy Show via the Back Row Network on behalf of the Back Row Studios. And you know New York, you need New York, you know you need New York. Boom, let's go. Here we go this week, Bandits. This one's a fun one, let me tell you. I am very happy and excited to get into this one. Let me ask you just a quick question. What's better than that cherry on top, that sweet cherry on top, at the end of the season when you check those prop bets and that cash comes flowing back in? Yeah, you know what? It's July. We're going to throw some money on some bets, and then 6, 7 months later, 8 months later, we're going to take that cash back to the bank because we were right. Your process was right. You knew who you wanted to get on. You knew the price was right, and you threw down and you made bank from it. There's nothing better. There's no cherry on top that's better than that, especially when you have to wait that 6, 7 months out. There's nothing better. Find me something sweeter than that. I dare you. There's nothing better. It's non-existent. Prop bets are fantastic. So this week, we're going to hammer out some New York Giants prop bets. But first, I'm going to kick today's episode off with news and notes surrounding the Giants over the past week or two. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been about. Can you blame me? Outside of some things going on with the Giants, we're going to go over that in a moment. There hasn't been a lot of football talk going on. But how about we start with some pretty awesome news about Darnay Holmes, rookie cornerback out of UCLA, which I don't think a big enough deal has been made out of this information, this news that's come through. He is or has received the Pac-12 Tom Hansen Conference Medal per the Giants website because there is zero chance I would know any of this. I'm just going to read it verbatim. It's awarded each year to the Pac-12 institutions, outstanding male and female student athlete based on the exhibition of greatest combination, performance and achievement in scholarship, athletics, and leadership. So we got a smart leader on our hands. That's a pretty good athlete. Yeah, that's a pretty good investment. I'm pretty happy with this. Holmes ended his UCLA career 33 out of 35 games in 3 years, 8 interceptions, 2 which returned for touchdowns, 17 passes defended, 2 fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 tackles for loss. He was named All Pac-12 honorable mention in both 2018 and 2019. The cornerback's success goes beyond the field, though. Holmes, an African-American studies major, earned his degree from UCLA in just 3 years and qualified for the UCLA Athletic Director's Honor Roll 4 times. Spring 2018, fall 2018, fall 2019, winter 2019. Holmes has also given back to his community in several ways already. The Darnay Holmes Mentorship Program. How nice does that sound? Oh, what a great young role model we have. The Darnay Holmes Mentorship Program, part of the Future Elite Academy in Westlake Village, California, helps guide young people through obstacles on their athletic journey. Holmes also played a big role in organising the Pasadena Giants youth football program's arrival in his hometown. That's one of the nicest things I've ever heard. How good's that? We got a really lovely young man on our hands. But on a sadder note, Aldrich Rosas' career is probably in a bit of jeopardy with the Giants after being arrested allegedly for a hit-and-run incident while drink driving with a suspended license. Allegedly. That's what we know. Allegedly. Doesn't sound good though, does it? Allegedly. When there are guys like Stephen Gostkowski out there who are looking for work, sad stuff, and let's hope he gets it together. And I'm not going to say he is or isn't going to get a chance, but, you know, an alleged hit and run while allegedly drink driving with an alleged suspended license, it's not looking good for the young kicker. Speaking of improved legal matters, we have heard from lawyer slash boy wonder Bradford Cohen that says they have procured sworn affidavits from 2 witnesses in attendance at a house party in Miramar, Florida, May 13th, claiming that DeAndre Baker neither robbed nor used a gun at any individual at the party. Joe Judge has his stance on it again with, quote, "My standard answer will be always be. It's currently on our roster. He's currently on our roster, and I'm not going to comment on any ongoing legal investigation or legal process." The guy still hasn't been with the team for months now. He hasn't even been a part of the virtual meetings. I'm not sure if he's with the camp. I doubt it. And finally, the NFL has dropped 2 preseason games due to the COVID pandemic and the uneasiness of state regulations opening and closing. I would not be surprised if the games are pushed back. I don't think they're going to cancel any more practice games. I would be heavily surprised if they cancel more games. I don't think they will. They might push the games back a week or 2 to compensate. But that would be it for me. I can't imagine any more than that happening at worst. You look at other leagues, they've all moved back months and months and months. The NBA season's about to start. Major League Baseball's ready to come back. Premier League's just about wrapped up as well. I think Major League Soccer's about ready to go too. So I can imagine worst case scenario that all those other leagues, they started a little bit later. I can imagine the NFL might have to do that. But that about wraps up most of the Giants news over the past couple of weeks. It's a mixed bag when you think about it, but you know, the Baker situation and Rosas situation, Darnay Holmes trumps all of that. What a fantastic young man we have on our hands. A nice young leader for our team moving forward. But enough of that. Let's kick on into what we are here for, and that is currently prop bets for your New York Giants in 2020. And before we get started, I did these about a week ago, so it might have moved a little bit. I doubt too much to really bother you the way it's going. It was around about July 4th, I think, because I had nothing to do July 4th. There was nothing else on. I thought, you know what, Giants prop bets, let's go. Why not? So they're about a week off. But anyway, and happy July 4th to everyone out there. It's about a week late, whatever. And happy Canada Day. Canada Day too. That's a thing. Like Australia Day. But whatever. Anyway, all these numbers were taken from mybookie.com. So if you're looking for them, you can find them under future props. So, what prop bets did I like heading into 2020? Now, I don't want to be the Grinch, but this probably won't sound very great right off the bat. So this first prop bet I'm checking out, I guess someone has to come last next year. So, there's only a handful of teams in that boat, and I think it's safe to say that no matter how great we think our off-season was and recruitment of coaches and our draft, that was all very good. We're still currently playing catch-up on everyone else, and everyone else has improved their squads. So, the Giants to have the most regular season losses at plus 1,400 or paying $15 is almost a safe bet. Now, let's not get hasty with this. Remember, it's easier to lose than it is to win, and if we are near the peak of that particular mountain in this category, then I think it's safe to say that we probably won't win our division at $9. So you look at teams like Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit, the usual suspects at this point, maybe the Jets, maybe Washington as well. Washington. Change your name! Either way, you know, we're still probably in that lower tier of teams, unfortunately, in 2020. And that's not a bad thing when it comes to putting on some bets now, is it? Now, we know that this is the beginning of something great for the Giants moving forward. We all know that, and I can deal with losses if it means those pieces fall into place and we can see what the team looks like. You can see the turnaround in how our squad looks. So I'm fine with that. It's a real young team. What is it? Our secondary is what, 21, 22 years of age? Our defense is real young. Our oldest guy's what? James Bradbury? Maybe Kyler Fackrell. Maybe he's like 28. That's a young team. That's inexperienced. A lot of inexperience there. So this at $15 or 14-1 isn't the worst bet out there to take. Now, all my listeners, I like the idea of doubling down. I'm not being a jerk. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm an opportunist. We're talking about bets. We're talking about gambling. And at the front of my mind's eye, if we are going to have the most regular season losses in the NFL, then I'm going to take the unders for regular season wins with the OU set at 6 wins, paying plus 115 or $1.95. I'm all right with that. I mean, I haven't done my win-loss yet, but going over the schedule, there's some winnable games. There's some tough ones. You know, how we are in our division. It's not the worst start to the schedule. We'll go over that a little bit later when it gets closer to the season when we need to. But under six wins, regular season losses, I can handle that on the bet. I'm all right with that. So I'm not trying to get on any Giants pride nerves right now, but this is a logical bet to make. If we're going to have the most regular season losses, we're going to hit the unders on our 6 wins. So I'm just doubling down on that principle, and you can take those options and add them to something else if you like, if you want to parlay that in. We all want the Giants to go 16-0, but I'm not putting emotion into the gambling. I'm not putting that into that at all. So enough of that. It's not all doom and gloom, and let's find the other side of the rainbow. And I think we can look to better times. Like, remember the steal of the draft this year? Remember that? The steal of the draft, Xavier McKinney? Yeah, he's a big outsider for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, the obvious usually take this one out. So, you know, Chase Young, Isaiah Simmons, so on, they're probably more likely to be in contention. They're at the shorter odds. But I think McKinney is going to be on the field more often than we think. And if he's out there, listen, we know he's a bona fide playmaker. If he does what we think he can do, he's a pretty good chance, isn't he? He's as good a chance as anyone. So, Defensive Rookie of the Year for an outside bet, Xavier McKinney at plus 3,300 or paying $34. That, to me, you don't have to put much on to get something back for that. That's a little tasty. Now, I mentioned before, there's a good chance he makes, you know, an immediate impact on our defense this year. Now, again, I'm not normally one that takes big risks on outside shots, but there's a chance he's going to be out there from day one a lot of the time. So I'm okay with that too. Not a lot of safeties win Defensive Rookie of the Year. There isn't a lot of safeties. I think the last one was 1990, Mark Carrier for the Chicago Bears. Not a lot of safeties win Defensive Rookie of the Year. But not a lot of them are Xavier McKinney. So we're going to look at some value bets now as well, some even better value bets. We're going to start with Daniel Jones. Props for him in 2020, I think, are a value in the upcoming season. So let's go over a couple things in regards to his rookie season. He averaged around 233 yards a game, which is good for 3,728 on over a 16-game schedule. He finished with 30-30 roughly out of 13 games. Now, Jones' passing yards is currently set with an OU of 379.5 or 3,799.5. That's maybe an extra, 45 yards a game from what he finished with in 2019 over that 16-game period. They're expecting he does the same thing, essentially. So if we don't expect any progression, it sounds like, if there's no real concerns or if there's no progression, he's going to hit. And that's at minus 120 or $1.83. Now, the crazy thing about that is I have Jones. I've done my numbers for the Giants at least. Obviously, I went over the wide receivers. I have done Barkley, Jones, and Ingram and all those sorts of guys too. I have him for about, just shy of 4,300 yards in 2020, which is about 272 yards a game. And that's that's that extra 40 yards a game. And that would have been 7th overall in 2019 for passing yards. And remember, he never played a game with Barkley, the 3 receivers, and Ingram all on the field at the same time with an improved line. Yeah, I kind of think he's going to take a bigger step forward than we think. And if that's the case, look, Jones in 2019 had 24 touchdowns as a rookie. MyBookie.com has Daniel Jones passing touchdowns set over under at 25.5. That's 1.5 more in 3 games. I think he can manage. Now, I told you, I think I'm going to smash the overs on passing yards. And I'm going to smash this one too at minus 120 and $1.83. I actually have Jones for 33 touchdowns, which is much higher than the 24 from 2019 and the 25.5 that's set. I think that's going to happen. So, again, remember, the Giants last year were tied for 5th with passing touchdowns with 30 last year. No one talks about that. 30 passing touchdowns in 2019, tied for 5th. Jones had 24 of them. Now, look, admittedly, I've probably got a bigger bump on Jones than most, but I also think with Manning out of the way, Jones knows he's the guy from the start. He's not coming in, haphazardly in the week 3, and they're going to throw Slayton out there to debut as well. No, he's got his full accomplishment week 1. Yeah, I kind of feel okay projecting bigger things than normal. They didn't recruit anyone else. It's the guys he has a relationship with already. He doesn't have to go looking and creating and, oh man, I hope this sticks with this guy and that guy. No, he already has the relationship with him. So I think the rationale is there that he's going to take the step forward with the guys that are there. I didn't even know if he was going to see the field the first half of the year. Came in, week 3 at Tampa, lit it up. They're his team now. He's going to take the step forward, and I'm okay with that because I think it makes sense. Speaking of making sense, I'm actually fading Saquon Barkley prop bets for yards and touchdowns for himself. So they have him about 1,200 yards rushing, and that seems right, and 10 rushing touchdowns, which, again, it seems a bit too tight to tell on that. So you're not going to get a lot of value out of that. Those odds are kind of really short. The odds being short on that and it being about right, I kind of don't feel like the need to put a bet on something that's tight. But what I will do is I'm going to take Saquon Barkley as the regular season rushing yards leader. I'm going to get more value from that because if we think Barkley's going to go ham again, then this is the bet to get on instead of finding shorter odds somewhere else. So for me, I think we're going to take the macro in terms of Barkley's outlook and put him against the field. I kind of feel like there's only a handful of running backs that are going to compete with that too. You look at Elliott, there's no one really there in the backfield. McCaffrey is another one. Derrick Henry, Chris Carson. Even Nick Chubb's in a timeshare of some sorts. There's not a lot of running backs. Maybe Todd Gurley in Atlanta. He could be a surprise bet too, but there's not a lot of guys out there that are really competing against Barkley in that notion. He's literally the only guy back there. He's it. So, an improved line. Daniel Jones not fumbling, not throwing the intercepts as much as he did as a rookie. More ball, more Barkley. It's going to happen. So I think he's a better chance at being the rushing yards leader than I do trying to find a yard here or there for him over the end of the season. So when you look at that, against the field, he's at plus 850 or paying $9.50 total. So, or $9.50. I don't want to say $9.50. Paying $9.50. So for me, Barkley is more of a value bet there than he is trying to hit an over-under on 1,200 yards. So I'm really trying to find value for that, and I think Barkley in this regard will be it. Now, we can talk about our receivers. I'm not touching Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard props until the season gets closer and we know that they're practicing and they're healthy. I think the Sterling Shepard, you'll have a look at them later, but you can have a look at them. Both of them kind of look easy. I think they have Evan Ingram at 4.5 touchdowns, and he had 3 in 6 games last year, and he had 3 the year before and 8. He can do that, I think, quite easily. And I think they had Sterling Shepard's yards quite low as well. Now, if you're telling me over a 16-game period, Ingram's going to have 65 receptions, 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, I'd say yep. And if Shepard alone would have 85 receptions, 950 yards, and 6 touchdowns, I would say absolutely. That's probably right where they are, but we can't. So, again, I'm going to fade them until we get closer to the season starting, and I'll double down and check what they have there, but I'm not going to touch those just yet. I will, however, get in on our second-year prospect, Darius Slayton. I think he's in for a breakout season now. I'm going to throw the caveat in there. I'm going to say outright, Jason Garrett looks at him as he's Michael Gallup. Oh, mouth waters a little bit when we say that. I kind of think Slayton is going to be used in that mold. So if we have a Michael Gallup type season, then the overs on Darius Slayton right now are huge. He's going to smash. And I have a feeling, as I said in the last podcast, he's going to be there or thereabouts as our best receiver going forward in 2020. I'm going to outright take the overs in all 3 phases of Slayton up for grabs. I have Slayton down for a bigger step forward in 2020. And when you look at how Michael Gallup was used last year, 113 targets, 66 receptions, 1,107 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now, Again, for receptions, I said it last time, I have him down for 62 receptions, which is close to that 66 at Gallops. The OU is set at 47.5, so that's at minus 125 or at $1.80 for yards. I also had Slayton down for 1,015 yards. You look at what Gallup did, he had 1,107. So that's kind of right there in that ballpark, same pricing. And for touchdowns, I actually had him for one less than last year. I have him down for 7. OU was set at 5.5 or at minus 120 and at $1.83. And again, you look at Gallup, he hit that 6 mark. So I kind of feel like he's going to take a bigger step forward than what we think. And I have Slayton down for a 97-62, 1,115 yards, 7 touchdown season. So in all 3 phases, he's going to smash. And again, I don't normally like taking the overs on anything. I normally feel like less happens than what we think or we want to think is going to happen. But in terms of value for the season coming up, I kind of feel like Slayton is that. So I'm going to go over this one more time on where I'm putting my money. I'm going to go on the Giants to have the most regular season losses at plus 1,400 or paying $15. And I'm going to double down on the unders there for regular season wins. With the OU set at 6, I'm going to go less, which is paying plus 115 or $1.95. I'm then going to throw an outside bet on Defensive Rookie of the Year, Xavier McKinney, at plus 3,300 or paying $34. Daniel Jones for passing yards, we're going to hit the over 3,799.5 at minus 120 or paying $1.83. So we're looking for 3,800 yards from Jones. I'm getting on his passing touchdowns as the overs as well, set at 25.5. Again, he had 24 last year. They're looking for another 1.5 out of 16 games. And that's at minus 120 or paying $1.83. Saquon Barkley to be the regular season rushing yards leader at plus 850 or paying $9.50. I'm fading anything to do with Ingram and Shepard until the season gets closer, and then we'll touch base on that another time. I'm also getting on Darius Slayton. Overs on receptions at 47.5. I'm taking the overs at minus 125 or at $1.80. I'm getting on Slayton yards. Overs 674.5 at minus 125 or paying $1.80. And I'm getting the overs on Darius Slayton touchdown, which is set at 5.5, which is going at minus 120 or $1.83. I'm getting on that. Now, I know some won't be happy with a few things here, but it's gambling. Don't get mad. Don't get your feelings mad. Get mad about Golden Tate not having him props up there. I looked. Get mad about that. Get mad about having no Golden Tate props available. That sucked. I'd have been all about that life. But either way, before I wrap this up, I want to remind you, it's not too late to start your own back row podcast for the team. You support at all, and if that's something you want to do, get in touch with Jeremy Barker from the Back Row Fantasy Show. This is his brainchild, and he will help walk you through it. If this is something you've never done before, you have no experience with, we're all here helping each other. One team, one dream, right? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. So, we're all here helping each other. And if you've got experience and you want to get going on your team, he'll just let you go and run with it. You make what you want out of this. So if you want to be in touch with him to get self set up, Back Row Fantasy Show or Back Row Fins or Bark Back Row, they're the 3 places you can find him on Twitter, and you can DM him. I normally post something about that every other week, and if you see something, reach out and I'll point you in the right direction as well. But if that's something you'd like to do, I can't endorse it enough. It's a whole lot of fun, and I think everyone should be enjoying themselves doing this too. Remember, as always, you can see my articles at thebackrowfantasyshow.com. That is Fantasy Impact. Last one up was on wide receivers going into 2020 in the ADP check, and going for 2.com, where I post game plan articles every other week as well. The last one was on players ADP outside of the top 150. There's some surprises in there too. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at the B League Says or Back Row Giants. You can find me there too. But until then, please wear your masks. Just wear your masks. Sleep in your masks. Wear your masks. Shower in your mask. Just wear your mask. It's not hard. It goes around your ears. You breathe in, you breathe out. There's no problem. You talk. I'm wearing one now. there's no popping on the mic today because I'm wearing a mask. I don't care. There's no one in the room. I'm by myself. I don't care. I'm still wearing a mask. Could care less. Just wear your mask. And bye for now. Come on, Killdrive.